Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Man About Town. We are a production of 321 Media. We are streaming right now live from beautiful downtown Westerly, Rhode Island, but we are all over the world. So wherever you are, we are right now. And it's going to be interesting to see how many people out there know anything about Gilbert and Sullivan. I know when I went to school, we sure heard about it, had to memorize it. My producer, Andrew, who's 12, has never heard of Man About Town. Yes, he has, of Gilbert and Sullivan. But people in different age groups and with different upbringings have or have not heard about Gilbert and Sullivan. We have two gentlemen today from the Connecticut Gilbert and Sullivan Society. And Andrew said to me before you came in, John and John, they're both named John. They made it easy for us. John Friedman and conductor John Dreslin. And you had told me a while back you are not the only Gilbert and Sullivan Society in the state, right? There
Right.
are two others.
Right.
Yeah, I was mentioning that to Andrew. Now you said one of them is down in like Fairfield.
One of them's down Stamford, Norwalk area, and the other one's up at Simsbury.
Oh, okay. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about because you're not from this area, Simsbury is not far from Hartford. It's west of Hartford. And Stamford is close to New York City. It's down in Fairfield County. But you are based, this society is based actually where? Your mailing address?
Well, our mailing address is in Middletown,
Okay. Which is pretty much
which
the
is
center of the
which is
state.
pretty much the center of the state.
Yeah.
But our performance is down in Deep River. We don't have a venue per se in Middletown.
Okay. And you have a show coming up, but before we talk about the show, and I will hold this up, this is Iolanthe, which is one of, was it 15 that they've written?
14.
14.
14.
Why don't you, for the uninitiated, tell people who Gilbert and Sullivan were and what they did other than have an awful lot of fun at a lot of people's expense. And more than 100 years later, it goes on and is still enjoyable, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Gilbert and Sullivan. Now, they were like a musical team, sort of like Rodgers and Hammerstein and Lerner and Lowe. Gilbert wrote the lyrics in the book, and Arthur Sullivan wrote the music. They uh, did most of their shows in the late 1800s in Victorian times, and
But they were
Yeah.
naughty. They weren't just, they weren't proper Victorians, were they?
well, they didn't mind. They didn't
Especially
mind
Sullivan.
poking fun at certain Victorian things, you know.
The mores of the time.
But the
and-
thing is that what keeps them popular is it's the same. They're poking fun at the same things we do these days, you know. They
Politics, right?
politics, especially in Iolanthe, has a lot to do with it, and you know, rich versus poor, class system, all this appears in their plots.
Well, I just took a good look at you and noticed, because I didn't notice when you came in, that you are wearing an Iolanthe 2025 shirt.
So I
And if,
wear my
you're right on,
T-shirt.
you're right on camera.
Yeah.
And you do a show every single year.
Every year.
And that keeps you young.
And also wears you out.
Yeah, oh, I'm
Uh-huh.
sure.
And
it
also wears you
does.
out. We're in the middle of Tech Week, and Tech Week is grueling sometimes because we're
You know-
rehearsing till 10 at night.
We have a lot of theater on here, and the theater right here in town, the Granite Theater.
Yeah.
They are doing the Rocky Horror Show right now, and a week or two ago was Tech Week for them, and the actors come in here, and that's the week everybody must show up. You will be there. You will work your guts out to
Right,
all
right.
hours
Right.
Yeah,
But-
basically from 6 to 10 every night
night.
this week. Yeah.
every night.
Mhm.
And tell the folks, because I know you told me, and that's amazing, because you are, this is an amateur society, but with very professional voices. How many people are you putting on that stage in Deep River?
This year,
This year.
43. We have a, we
43.
have a big cast this year,
Now you're at a high school, correct?
right?
Is it a big stage? Can it take? Well,
Yeah,
obviously,
it's a full proscenium stage.
Yep, it's a very good stage
Yeah.
for us. It has an orchestra pit, which we will be using. As I said, there's 43 people in the onstage cast, but there's 23 professional musicians in the pit. So
and you're in charge of them because you're the
I-
conductor.
I'm in charge. I'm the czar.
Now, this is interesting to me because when I met you, you told me that before you retired, you were a dentist. They don't teach you in dental school how to conduct, do they?
No, they don't. No, it basically was on the job training. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you had to have a love for this, and you had to have a proclivity towards it, both of you.
Well, I was familiar with Gilbert and Sullivan from a young age, as you were. We had it in our school. We would perform it in junior high. I remember
Yeah, that's what I remember. too, yeah.
my first musical was Pirates of Penzance, and which I accompanied on the piano in junior high school. So
So even back then, you were musical.
yes, oh yeah.
Wow.
Well, my father was a professional musician, so I was exposed to music at a very young age.
Now, did the kids, and I love the fact that you say junior high because that's what I say, and it dates both of us.
Oh.
Because today,
It's middle school.
But when you were back there, and junior high is what ages like 11 to 13 or 14. It's fairly young.
Yeah, so it was seventh to ninth grade, whatever that
Right.
encompasses. Yeah.
Did they get it? Did they get the humor back then? The double entendres, the farce?
I don't think so. I think they were just reading the script, and they were not that familiar with the overtones, so they were just
So they're
doing it for the
directors.
music, because the music is so good, and just was in it for that. I want to mention that in this year's cast, we go from a young of 9 years old. Youngest person to cast is 9 years old.
Wow.
The oldest person to cast is 82, a few months older than me.
Now, you know something? That kind of sounds like the chorus of Westerly. They go from 8 to 80 something this year.
Yeah.
Now, I know that the conductor here, and he had very big shoes to fill when George Kent
Yeah.
died. But when Andrew Howell took over, he took over the tradition of no matter how old they are, they're going to understand and learn this music. So, does the 9-year-old know what he or she is singing?
I hope so.
Wait a minute, you're the conductor, not the director.
That's right.
The
But the other,
director's from UConn, I remember that.
that's right. It's Dr. Spencer Reese from UConn. Yeah.
And he has directed a number of your shows, correct?
Yeah, this is his fifth. Yeah.
So he comes back for more agony
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
ecstasy.
And he does a lot of work during the summer with early summer with the Ohio Light Opera Company, who do a lot of Gilbert and Sullivan and also other musicals that he is choreographs their whole season and directs one or two of their productions, and even stars as a tenor in a couple of them. This guy is very talented. He multi-talented fellow. He can even sew. He can even sew costumes if he has to. He's a tailor
Really?
too. Yeah.
Now, you just used an expression a few sentences back that I think I've heard since I was probably 9 or 10 years old. What exactly is light opera? Is it the operetta, the fun, not the heavy duty Met stuff?
That's correct. Like, usually, light opera has dialogue in it rather than sung through, and it's basically more lighthearted, more happy stuff. They consider like Merry Widow or Fledermaus. Those are all considered light opera. Plus, there's a whole genre of American ones by Victor Herbert. And even John Philip Sousa wrote operettas too.
Really?
Yeah, a lot
Not
of people
just
don't
those
realize it. They
marches,
all
huh?
remember his marches, but at the time, first of all, he was a great admirer of Sullivan. And at the time,
Sullivan wrote the
he
music,
wrote,
right?
yeah, he wrote quite a few operettas in the style of Gilbert and Sullivan. Yep.
Wow. Very interesting. Now, John number, I don't know if I should call you number one, number two, the other John,
Yeah.
the other Daryl
Yeah.
over here.
Mhm.
You also grew up in a home that was musical and you were
Yeah,
familiar with this?
yeah. My mom was an actress, part time anyway. She had an equity card, but she never made it big time. But she did a lot of summer stock. I grew up listening to Gilbert and Sullivan. My dad was a big fan, and in World War II he served over in England, but with the RAF, working on radar systems.
So the English people like this. They weren't embarrassed by it.
No,
The proper British.
no, I grew up listening to Mikado, Pirates of Penzance, and HMS Pinafore. And until I joined this group, that was really all the Gilbert and Sullivan I knew. But I always loved it, and I remember going to see shows with my folks, and particularly in Pirates of Penzance, I remember specifically when the Bobbies come out in Act Two, and they're just dumb. They're very straight, and the women make a big fuss over them, like, "This is terrific. You're going to go get killed, and we're going to cry over your graves. Aren't you so brave?" And it's great tongue in cheek humor. It really is wonderful, And I remember my dad laughing at that, and that's where I picked it up. I mean, I picked it up at a very early age.
Now you both grew up in Connecticut.
No,
I grew up in New York.
yeah, I grew up in New York City, and
I grew up on Long Island.
And-
Long
Oh.
Island.
So you're transplants.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Interesting. So tell us about the show this weekend, Iolanthe, what it's about.
Oh,
All right. Well, Iolanthe. It's a send up of British Parliament. It's a parody of British Parliament. But the basic storyline is that Phyllis is a ward in Chancery. Her guardian is the Lord Chancellor of England. And
Is that you? Did
No.
you say you were
no,
doing
no, I'm not. No, there's somebody else playing. Phyllis is a ward in Chancery. There's the Lord Chancellor. Phyllis is in love with a character named Strephon, and Strephon is an Arcadian shepherd. But we find out very early on that he's not completely mortal. His mom is a fairy, and Iolanthe is his mother, and the Lord Chancellor is his father. He doesn't find
you
out.
just gave away the surprise ending.
Well,
He just gave away the surprise ending.
Not really, not really. But
Not with 43 in the cast.
Strephon
Never given it all away.
and Phyllis want to get married, and
They want to get married.
they want to get
you
married,
don't marry a fairy.
but Strephon needs the permission of the Lord Chancellor in order to, because Phyllis is the Lord Chancellor's ward, so Strephon has got to get permission. Well, he doesn't get permission, and he persists anyway. And the Lord Chancellor and the House of Peers resist him, at which point he calls in his fairy relatives who rake all sorts of hell on Parliament. They put a bunch of hexes on him and really shake him up.
Are
And
they Democrats?
well, I don't know.
Well, the House of Peers
The House of Peers.
is divided between
Between-
Whigs,
The Whigs and the
who
Tories.
the Whigs are sort of the Democrats and the Tories are sort of Republicans.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a send up of Parliament and ineptitude. And in fact, I mean, there's a song that one of the characters, Mount Ararat, sings in Act Two, when Britain really ruled the waves, and he talks about when Wellington thrashed Bonaparte, as every child can tell. The House of Peers throughout the war did nothing in particular and did it very well.
Uh-huh.
So it's really poking. It's really poking at them.
It is.
But there is a song earlier on by a character called Private Willis, who is the guard outside of the
Right.
Parliament, where he really lays it on. He says, he finds it very humorous that every boy and every girl that are born are either born liberal or conservative.
That'll get a big
Yeah,
laugh this weekend,
that's
I'm
right.
sure.
So they're born that way,
No,
and
isn't that amazing? And that was written in 18
yeah.
what?
about 1880. Yep.
And look how
Yeah.
efficient it is.
And then
today.
he goes on to say that, when the members of parliament go in to vote, they don't use their brains at all. They just vote the way their party leader tells them to. So
Wow.
so there's a lot of
What part of Rhode Island was he from? Wow. That really is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's right on.
So
I mean,
that gets right back to there's nothing new under the sun.
yep. Hmm.
Wow. All right. So John Dreslin, you are the conductor, and have you conducted all of the shows?
Well, there's 14. I've conducted 12 of them.
But I mean, all of them for the society.
Oh no, I have conducted. This will be about my 34th or 35th I've done of it, but
Yikes.
but the society's been in existence longer than that.
That was my next question.
Yeah. How many years? When was it founded? Do you remember, John?
First show was 81, but it was actually founded in 1980.
Okay, so do the
And
math.
there's been a show every year
Mhm.
except during COVID,
COVID,
or
Yeah. So there are about 9 seasons I didn't conduct. Yeah.
But he's more than conductor, he's our music director.
yes.
And there's a lot more to that than just conducting. Because he's got to worry about the altos doing their parts and the principals
I
doing
was
their
going to
parts.
say,
and,
you have
there's
to
a lot of work.
write the parts for each instrument, correct?
No, it all comes. I mean,
Well,
we
you
rent
do it,
we rent
don't
our
you?
orchestra parts. We use the original Sullivan scoring. We're one of the few societies that is able to do that. Like our Simsbury friends, they work with a reduced orchestra of about 12 or so, and so they use a smaller orchestration. But we have always insisted that we wanted to use the original Sullivan scoring. So you have to have a fairly large orchestra to do that.
Do they have to be union, or are they union?
They are union.
They are, so that means that's where a lot of your money goes.
Oh,
then.
that's for sure. A lot of it goes
Yeah.
there, but there's all sorts of expenses to putting on the show.
Oh, sure. I mean,
John is our producer. He's the expert on
I mean,
that.
you've got costumes for a cast of 43,
Ooh,
and
but you've got good costume people.
well, yeah,
working
we
with
have
you
good.
that
As a
do
matter of fact, our
alterations and-
costumer is a graduate of RISD in fashion design. She worked in the fashion industry in New York City for many years, and then decided to get out of that and get into costuming for shows. Doing that kind of costuming, or that kind of
That's a lot of work, though.
design. Yeah. Oh, it's a lot of work, and a lot of all the fairy costumes in this, because we have a lot of women on stage with a cast of 43, and all those costumes have been made from scratch. They're chiffon, and they're diaphanous wings with little speckles of iridescent paint.
You have
on them.
LED lights on these costumes, right?
Well, not on the costumes. They do on they're wearing wreaths, and they have LED lights on the wreaths that they're wearing on their head. But there are some glow in the dark paint on the wings. There's a lot of work, and
You got a lot of special effects in this.
yeah, there's a lot of work in putting the costumes together, because some of it is rented, some of it is made from scratch. And of course she's got to stay within budget. It's not. I mean, if you have all the money in the world to spend, you can get pretty much anything you want. But you have to get very creative to try and get all this stuff looking as good as it possibly can without spending a fortune on it. But
Do
it's
you
so
get
expensive.
any kind of a grant from the state of Connecticut?
Not from the state,
Not from the state.
but we do have some good corporate donors.
Yeah, we have Liberty.
Because I was going to say, you can't spend all of this money strictly from ticket sales,
Oh, no.
because you're putting a lot into this.
No. The ticket sales cover, maybe half of the cost of putting on one of these shows, and the rest of the money is coming from donors and from grants. And
Yeah, that
sponsorships.
we do have some grants, but they're not from the state.
Not from the state.
Now the tickets. Now the show. We're going to go over this several times because people tend to tune us in, out. We have new audiences all the time. The show is this Saturday and Sunday, and you have 3 performances. Saturday, it's 2:00 in the afternoon, matinee, and 7:30 in the evening.
Mhm.
And then Sunday, again, a 2:00 matinee and I don't know how you can do it for such a reasonable price. Adult price is $35, but there's an advance of 30, so you can, and we're gonna go through that. We'll give you a website if you want to get tickets in advance. Students, $15.
At all times,
And that's students from elementary
all the way
through
up.
college.
We
That
never
is-
quibble about that. We're just
That's-
happy to have them come.
Yeah, I would think so,
You know.
because that's your next generation. You
Yep.
want
Yeah,
this
we're
to
happy
keep
to have them
going
come.
and going and going. So how do they get tickets? Do you need this, or is it all up in your head?
No, it's up in here. If you go to ctgands.org/tickets, you will be able to, you could get tickets by ordering them online through a secure website, our ticket vendor, or you could order them over the phone. And I answer the phone, so you're going to talk to me personally if you order them over the phone.
So if people are watching right now and they didn't get all of that, if they just type in Google Connecticut
Gilbert and Sullivan
Gilbert
Society,
Society,
they'll find
they'll
our
get to you.
Yeah, they'll find our webpage. And, we have a Facebook, and it's a Facebook page, Instagram, and we also have a YouTube site. So if people were interested in seeing what our shows are like,
Yes.
if they wanted a taste
And
of
they
it.
should, because I've done that.
Yeah,
and
so
it's
if
incredible.
you go out to YouTube and you type in Connecticut Gilbert and Sullivan Society, you will hit our YouTube channel. And out there you'll see clips from our shows, but you will also see we have full-length videos of 9 of the productions that we put on. So you can see, for instance, our production Violante from 2015, and you can see Pirates of Penzance and
So you did
Princess
Iolanthe 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have the same well, not the same, but probably had some of the same. But did you use 43 people back then as well?
I don't think we had
No,
that big
it was
cast.
a
pretty
smaller
good-
cast.
It was a good sized cast, but I don't think it was as
Yeah.
big as this one.
This is about the fourth time that the society has put on Iolanthe. So,
It's obviously perfect for today's climate.
Yeah. Yes, it
political
is.
Climate. Although I would think that about most of their shows. That
Yeah.
humor just, it's not old, it's not tired humor by any means. It just
No.
works. Are all 43 of them on stage at any one time, like at the end?
at the end, they're all there.
So there, you got 43 voices.
It gets pretty crowded up there too.
Yeah.
Even with the good sized stage we have, when you have all 43 people on there, it's a lot of traffic direction has to be done, and that's what Dr. Reese excels at, is keeping everybody out of each other's way, which is a big job.
Yeah, it's called blocking.
That's
right?
called blocking and choreography. Yep.
Yeah,
Sure.
and especially in Act One, because in the Act One, we're using a mid-stage backdrop for Act One, so we don't have the full depth of the stage for Act One because the seed is a different seed. It's
Oh,
Act One. So you've got 43 people and half the depth of the stage, full width, but half the depth. So it's getting the blocking right so that it looks right to the audience is a little tricky.
Now you've got 43 people in the cast. You said 25 in the orchestra pit? Is that what you said?
23, but close enough. 25 is close enough. 23.
All right. And how many people do you have backstage pulling the curtains, moving the scenery? That's got to be some choreography right there.
Never enough. Okay, our stage manager goes nuts. We try and get volunteers in to help her. Sometimes we have to move pieces of scenery in and out depending upon the scene. So we like to get helpers back there. We always need to have runners to go get cast members and make sure that they're staged properly in the wings, for the various scenes. So there's a lot of work, and there's a lot of work ahead of time in building the sets. I mean, there's a lot of work because because we don't have our own venue, the sets are built elsewhere, and we bring them in and set them up. So we
I
don't
was
have
gonna
the
say, where do you-
luxury of building them in place, and there's a lot
Where
of
do you
work.
store everything from year to year?
It's in a barn in Guilford, and that's where all the work on the sets is. And then this past weekend we trucked everything in and set it up. All the lighting has to be set up. So there's a lot of preparation and not that much time to do. Well, there's a lot of lead time to do. There's a fair amount of lead time to do the sets because those start in the summer. But the lighting can't take place until we move into the venue. Okay, and we just moved into the venue a few days ago. We moved in on the 18th. So all that lighting has to be set up.
Do you get any help from the high school? Do you get kids to volunteer to come
Not
in,
not
get
for that.
senior hours or
No,
whatever?
well, no, not for that part of it. We don't. You know, but we do get students from the high school, and we love to have students from the high school. We love that. Helping us with front of house, for instance, they can usher for us, and there's some tables that they can man for us, and we also have them. I mean, occasionally we have them in the show. Occasionally we have them in the show. And in 2017, we had a student through the capstone program at Valley Regional, and she was our assistant stage manager, and she was fabulous. I mean, she was really, really good. In fact, you know, had she not gone away to school, I would have
You
hired
let her
her.
go.
I would have hired her as a stage manager the next year, but she went off to college. So, you know, but we always like to have students coming into the show because we figure that's, you know, getting new blood in,
Sure.
and they have a great time. I'll tell you, we have, you know, some of the, you know, Katie, who is what, 11 years old, is wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is wonderful. She's
She's
one of the
amazing.
fairies. Yeah, she's
She's
played one of the fairies. Kasia Wright is playing another one of the fairies.
And
Kasia-
she's a Valley Regional student.
She's a Valley Regional student,
Yeah.
and she's very, very good. She had the lead in their. They have their program, their drama program wins awards all the time, and she played Molly Brown in the production of The Unsinkable Molly Brown, and she was nominated for a Sondheim Award for Best Actress in a High School Musical.
Really?
That's how good she is. She's really, really good. So we're very excited when we get kids like that, and of course, when they after their senior year, we lose them. They go to college. That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
But
Well, you let them go, right?
well, yeah.
You don't want them to
I
go.
wish we could keep them.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I wish we could keep them.
I bet you do. That's amazing. We're going to be taking a break in a minute, and when we come back, I'd like to know a lot more about the process, like how much in advance do you start, and who picks the shows, and about the auditions, because this is incredible. It would seem to me that if you're looking for something to do this weekend, you can wait with the apple picking. You can go the day before, the day after, or the cider mill or whatever. This is not something you're going to see just every day. So this is Iolanthe. It is taking place at Valley Regional High School in Deep River, Connecticut, which is right off Route 9. Very, very simple. I know from here, if you happen to be watching us in the Westerly area, you're talking about just under a 1 hour. You don't have to pack a suitcase and a lunch and all of that. It's just about 1 hour to get there. The weather, by the way, is going to be beautiful this weekend. And this would be the thing to do because you're not going to see this next weekend. You're not going to see it in 2 months. This is not like regular theater. This happens once a year, and it's very special. There aren't too many people doing Gilbert and Sullivan right now. We are here with John Friedman and John Dreslin from the Connecticut Gilbert and Sullivan Society. You are streaming with Man About Town. If perhaps you have a question you want to chime in, you can do so on Facebook Live, correct, Andrew?
Yep.
And,
or the YouTube comments.
pardon me?
Or the YouTube comments.
Or YouTube comments. And these gentlemen know everything. They even knew them personally, Gilbert and
Wow.
Sullivan.
I'm
This is
practically
Man
old
About
enough.
Town. We're a production of 321 Media. We're going to take a break and see who our local people are today that are helping make us possible. We'll be right back.
I'm Dale Soul, the owner of Shoreline Painting and Cabinet Refinishing. My vision for the company has always been to elevate paint contracting. When you call, you get a live person. Typically, we have estimates out the same day. We have really good communication with our customers daily. We make sure you're completely happy before we leave the project. We service residential and commercial customers. The commercial work we do is typically more community oriented. We just completed a expansion of our shop. We added 3 more spray booths to allow us to increase capacity. You can find us at 77 Stillman Ave in Pawcatuck. You can find us on our website at shorelinepaintingri.com, or you can call the office 401-834-1684 to book an estimate.
Make your house a home using quality paints and stains. Achieve long-lasting color and beauty with premium products from Benjamin Moore, available only at locally owned stores like ours. Elevate your home interior with Aura, Regal Select, and Ben Paint, or give your exteriors protection from the weather with Element Guard and new Woodlux exterior stains. No matter what you choose, we know you'll see the love. Visit us today to get started on your next project. Westerly Paints, 85 Franklin Street in Westerly, or call 401-596-8333 and visit westerlypaints.com.
I'm Donna Simmons. I'm the luxury property specialist for Mott & Chase Sotheby's International Realty. Whether you're buying a home, selling a home, or simply need guidance in planning your short-term or long-term needs and dreams, I'm ready to go on this journey with you with heartfelt guidance and expert results. Feel free to give me a call at 401-439-0268. I'd love to talk to you and make your real estate dreams come true.
Hi, I'm Chris Kozłowski, owner of Broadview Florist and Garden Center in Dunn's Corners. For over 40 years, our family-owned business has been your go-to destination for beautiful, custom-made floral arrangements. Whether it's a special event or just to brighten up your day, we create highest quality designs tailored just for you. Trust Broadview Florists to make every moment unforgettable. Visit us today or give us a call at 401-322-0390.
Ever thought about leveling up your fitness game in a fun and meaningful way? Kiefer's Martial Arts on Granite Street has everything you're looking for. Kickboxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and of course, adult karate. It's not just about getting fit, it's about building your self-confidence, discipline, and that unstoppable feeling you get from all your hard work. Stop into Kiefer's Martial Arts today to sign up.
G&V Mechanical specializes in the installation, maintenance, and servicing of Mitsubishi ductless mini-split heat pump systems. We are certified by Mitsubishi as Diamond Elite Contractors and factory trained and up to date on the proper procedure of the installation and service of Mitsubishi ductless heating and air conditioning ductless heat pumps. We assist with the paperwork to reduce much of the stress-related documentation required to get the state rebates and federal tax incentives. We are not a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-nothing company. We are masters of ductless heat pumps. It's what we do, and it's what we know.
We are back now. This is Man About Town. We're a production of 321 Media. We are streaming live right from Westerly, Rhode Island, and we are being watched, heard, and checked very carefully all over the world. And for those who say, well, I got in late and I wanted to see the beginning, we are podcasts, so you can go on YouTube, go to Man About Town, and you'll find us later on in perpetuity. You can play us forever. And speaking of playing forever, we are with the Connecticut Gilbert and Sullivan Society, John Friedman, John Breslin, and the fact that Gilbert and Sullivan are still alive and being performed after over 100 years. Why do you think that is?
Just, well, first of all, as we were saying earlier, the themes basically continue on. That there's, as you said, I think there's nothing new under the sun, and
I didn't say it, Ecclesiastes said it.
plus the music is excellent. It's a lot of catchy tunes. It's very, very nice.
And it's silly and people need to laugh.
That's right. I mean, it's great comedy. Yep.
We absolutely need to laugh. Are all 14 of their operettas silly, fun, or are there any serious ones?
Well, the most serious one is the one we did last year, Yeoman of the Guard, that has some serious aspects to it. First of all, it takes place in the Tower of London at the time of around the first Elizabeth's time, when they were still doing executions and all, and it centers about a fellow who's who's about to be beheaded for being a sorcerer, and
I was going to say, you have songs about beheading.
Yeah.
There we go.
so I mean, he eventually escapes, of course, but still there's that hanging over him. One of the head characters is the jailer and assistant tormentor, so he's sort of a heavy character, but it all comes out right in the end. But that's probably the darkest of the 14.
This is, without a doubt, not just a show. It's a spectacle. It's a production.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. So when the show is over and the set comes down on Sunday, when do you start planning next year, or have you already been pawing around?
Well, we've already picked a show.
Why am I not surprised? Are you allowed to say, or is it?
Yes, we're allowed. It's Pirates of Penzance.
Which is probably
One of the most popular.
And the Mikado are probably
Yeah,
two of the
that
most
and
popular.
Pinafore. HMS Pinafore, Mikado, and Pirates of Penzance are the big three, but we have to space those apart.
Okay, so let's talk about the whole process. You've already picked the show for next year.
Mhm.
After you go home Sunday night and you have a couple of drinks
Uh-huh.
and relax and say, phew, and you start doing this whole process again. We are the end of October. We're looking at the holidays. Do you wait till the holidays are over? When are auditions? When do you start?
Yeah,
doing the work?
the auditions take place in the second or third week of June. But
All the way, so it's like
right,
8 months down the
but
line.
there's a lot of planning before then, because we have to figure out, we have to secure rehearsal space. We have to secure a space to do the auditions.
Are you always producing at Valley Regional and Deep River?
That's, well, we have been doing our shows in Deep River since 2013. And there was a time when we were doing them in Middletown, but we're doing them in Deep River now.
Yeah.
But you still, every year we have to consider the cost of doing the show. I mean, there was one year that we didn't do it in Deep River because the cost had gone up to a point where we found someplace else, and now we're back at Deep River. So you're investigating the venue. We have to make sure that we have people who could, line up a stage manager, line up technical director. Okay. So, and I get going on that very early, to be honest with you. And partly because I just like jumping into it. And
because things happen and you don't want to be caught
Right.
at the last minute.
you don't want to be caught at the last minute, and it takes a lot of work because you're doing a lot of outreach, a lot of email, a lot of phone calls. Hey, do you know somebody who could be a tech director? Do you know somebody who's good at set design?
Now, John keeps saying we. The we is our board of directors, which is made up of about 10 people. They not necessarily are cast members. As a matter of fact, we're always looking for somebody who might make a good member of our board of directors. Anyone listening out there has a great interest in theater and Gilbert and Sullivan, we'd like to hear from you if you have any aspirations of maybe joining our board, because
So Google Connecticut Gilbert and Sullivan Society.
Right.
And you'll
Send
get
us an
one or the
email.
other John.
Yeah. But we do have a board that meets monthly, but nowadays we do it by Zoom. Used to be we had to physically get together, but now we do it by Zoom. So one of
Oh,
our
it's gotta
board
be a lot
one of our
easier.
board members is in California.
Uh-huh.
Well,
On vacation, or that's
No,
where they
no,
live?
that's where she lives.
Oh.
Yeah. So she has the app name of Natalie Wood. So how's that? But
Really?
but not the other Natalie Wood because she died.
Yes. Wow. That's amazing. Now, do you have a board? This is a loaded question. Do you have a board that gets along pretty well? Because so often these boards of directors of theater companies and music companies don't always get along so well.
Well, I think all
think we
ours
do.
get along great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who picks the shows?
the board
board
does.
does.
The
Yeah,
board does.
yeah, we take a vote. Well, first of all, we take a look at the calendar and say, well, what haven't we done
What
for a
have we
long
done?
time?
Yeah,
And then we vote on it.
wonderful. Okay. So the board meets, John is busy talking to people to see who wants to do tech, and your director's gonna stay the same, Spencer?
Yeah, we've had different directors, but yeah, Spencer is probably going to continue to be our director.
But that's another decision the board makes. The board decides who's going to be music director, board decides who's going to be director, et cetera, who's going to be choreographer, who's
Now,
going,
are all
who's
those
going to be
people-
producer even.
Are they all paid positions?
No, Spencer is.
Spencer, yeah, artistic
director.
director.
I've been doing it as a donation, so I have been taking
That's
pay.
a heck of a donation.
Yeah.
You are to be commended.
Thank you.
That's a lot of time and talent.
Yeah.
I mean, you could give all the time in the world. If you didn't have the talent,
Well-
it wouldn't be
Well,
very good.
well, I think John Friedman here spends more hours than I do on the project. I mean, he is constantly at work. One of the successes of our shows really is due to John and his hard work, really.
But I have to ask you a question. Now, when did you retire from dentistry?
12 years ago.
All right. When you were working on people, did you hum the song, sing along as you're drilling them?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
Uh,
All right. Okay, so now let's talk about the process. We've gotten a lot of that out of the way, but let's talk about auditions. Is something put online, in the newspaper, combination of things?
We don't put them in the newspaper, but we do put it online. We put it on our Facebook page. We do a lot of email. We have, blast emails that go out to folks.
Former performers. too.
Well, general, and in fact, you're aware of the fact that, for instance, we do showcases at assisted living
Yes,
facilities, so your retirement communities. And
I know that, but they don't
well,
know
we
that.
do that. We do that.
You do that
and-
throughout the year, correct?
Well, no, we do that. We do that during season because during the winter it's really tough to, the weather becomes really unpredictable for us.
But at assisted living places, they're gonna know Gilbert and Sullivan.
Oh, a lot of
because
them
they're
do.
the right
Yeah,
age.
a lot of them do.
I bet they kind of sing along.
Some of them
They
will.
do.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
do.
Because they remember.
They
Mhm.
do. And afterwards, before we leave, it's not unusual for them to come up and say, oh, I played Josephine in high school, or I played the Major General in college, or
Wow.
it's very typical.
See, that's one of the things in school now that they don't have, that you and I and John, we were all exposed to in schools. And basically, there's not many schools now who are
Right.
presenting Gilbert Sullivan.
No, I don't
they
think so.
present, Broadway things, contemporary things, and such like that.
Right.
So, that's one of the things, the big thing is try to introduce Gilbert and Sullivan to younger people. Once we got them, they're hooked,
Right.
Yeah, because it's so different. It's fun.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, it's complete fun.
And same thing with the audience members. I would tell you honestly. I mean, I had friends that for years, I said, you really ought to come and see the show. They said, we don't like that kind of stuff. I said, And as a matter of fact, the first show they saw was what we did Iolanthe in 2015. And they said, that was great. That was great. I said, I told you, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and after
what-
they
I
came
mean,
to that one,
they-
they started coming every year.
Do they think they're seeing Shakespeare or something that they're not going to
I
understand?
don't know. You know, I don't
Yeah.
know. You know,
This is pageantry. It really
the
is.
shows are very entertaining, you know, and not everybody leaves saying, gee, I got to come back. But I would say most of them do. You know, most of the people who come there for the first time say, this is great. You know, that was a lot of fun.
And the price is right, and we're going to mention this again. Adults, $35. If you do an advance sale and you go online to ctgands.org, it's easier to just
Yeah.
do Connecticut, Gilbert and Sullivan and Google that. If you do an advance sale, it's $30. And a student of any age, from preschool
Right.
through college, $15.
Yeah.
And the show runs a couple hours.
Yeah, how long we timed it last night?
Yeah, it's about 2.5 hours
Yeah.
with
And
the
there is an
intermission. Yep.
intermission.
Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the other thing, I mean, if you've got a whole bunch of people, if you get 10 tickets or more, we knock 10% off.
Oh, that doesn't say that on here.
No, it doesn't. But
No,
I'm telling you
that's
now. I'm telling you
That
now.
is very good to know
Telling you now.
because there may be a group from
From
a
wherever.
church, from your
That's
neighborhood,
right.
a group of friends. You know, what are we doing this weekend?
Right.
And you've got three shows only. This Saturday, the 25th, 2:00 matinee. You'll be out in time to go somewhere and have dinner.
Right.
Evening show, 7:30. And on Sunday, again, a matinee at 2:00.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect timing. And this is at Valley Regional High School in Deep River, right off Route 9.
That's all right.
Google that as well. And that is very, very simple. Plenty of parking at the high school.
Lots of parking.
Are the seats reserved or
General admission.
general admissions? You can get there early and.
Right. And
jump
there's
ahead.
and it's a small venue. The auditorium seats about 570, and there are really no bad seats.
I was gonna say.
There are no
so.
bad seats. There's no bad seats.
No
in
bad
there.
seats and 43 people on stage
Right,
singing.
yeah,
You'll hear it
Yeah,
just
you're
fine.
going to hear it. And I mean, the other thing is that we do use super titles. Because sometimes,
Oh, you do?
yeah, we use
Ah.
super titles. Not for the dialogue, but for the music we do. Because a lot of Gilbert's lyrics are unbelievably
It's
clever.
fast, and it's very.
And
Sometimes
a lot of
they're
them are
fast, too,
A lot
yeah.
of them are fast, and sometimes what the principal is singing could get drowned out by the chorus. So we always make sure that we run the super titles, and you know, a lot of the audience members are older and they have some hearing issues, so we try and
That's a-
accommodate them.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, because I went to a show last weekend and my hearing is not the best anymore, but and I really missed super titles because I missed a lot of the lyrics that they were doing,
Yeah,
and we really,
that's a shame.
yeah, mhm.
Especially with Gilbert and Sullivan, where, like you said, the lyrics are everything. I
Yeah.
mean, the music's nice, but the lyrics are everything because that's where the subtlety comes
Yeah,
in
right.
and the humor of it. Okay, so now we're at auditions. When you do your auditions in June,
Mhm.
is it a couple of nights of auditions?
Two nights. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
how are the turnouts generally?
Well, pretty good.
You never know.
You never know year to year, and I always told you.
He always worries.
I hope people show up for auditions.
And this year we had how many showing up? About 40 people?
Yeah, we had quite a few people show up. But I mean, we do not require you, if you sung with other groups, if you sung with a chorus, if you just want to be in chorus, we do not
Have to
require
audition.
you to audition.
Just audition for principal
Just
roles.
audition for the principal roles.
Mhm.
But one of the things that makes doing audition a little more difficult for us is that Spencer, at the time we're doing auditions, is off in Ohio. So, you know, in order for us to make the selections on who to cast in which roles, we video it. You know, Spencer becomes a video camera, and John and Spencer review the videos together, and then they make the casting decisions
I see.
between the two of them. So, there's
So-
some extra work.
Your lead people are primarily people with very professional voices.
Well, a lot of them do. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them.
But if somebody
voice
has
things.
just a regular voice, they sang in a
Well,
chorus, a community chorus,
Oh,
or a
yeah.
high school
Oh,
glee
sure.
no,
club,
you don't have.
if they can carry a tune, they can be in,
That, they
in
can
the
certainly
ensemble.
audition, right? Well, that's where we picked up our 11-year-old cast member.
Right.
But you
She
know,
was
that's-
terrific. She
That's
gave a terrific
smart.
audition.
That's smart because she probably has a grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, cousins, and also classmates
Oh,
who might say, "Oh, next year I want to do that too."
Right.
So that is smart.
Yep.
Very, very smart indeed.
And we ask an awful lot of our cast members. I mean, because you figure we do a rehearsal every Sunday with the full cast, and then on Tuesday evenings, we have the principals come in, and it's a different group of principals each week. It depends upon what John and Spencer have decided, which scenes and which music they're going to cover one week to the next. But in addition to doing all that work, with rehearsals, a week apart for the full cast, we're telling people you gotta look at this stuff and practice it at home, because if you don't, you're going to forget a lot of what you learned from the previous Sunday,
Yeah.
and particularly when we get into the blocking and choreography. And to help in that respect, we take videos and we post them online for our.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Yeah, we take
how do
videos.
how do you learn blocking when you're all by yourself? But there's the answer.
Well, people take notes, but to help people along, we also video so people have something visually to reference on their own.
So if I
to remember
cross
stuff.
stage left instead of right, I'm gonna slam into 3 people,
Right.
and
yeah.
they can see that.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. But I mean, the other thing that we ask of our cast members is to help promote the show. I mean, I told you we have all these rack cards and posters printed up. We don't have a big marketing group. We don't have a third party that goes out and publicizes the show. We give the cast members, we say, here are the towns, who can cover here, who can cover there, and we send these folks
And
out.
many of them work, so they
Yeah.
can
And
take
many of
these
them
things
work.
to jobs.
Right.
Right.
You have this is excellent. I just noticed, which is very good, on the back of this, it tells you all about where the show is and how much the tickets are. This gives you a little background on Iolanthe. So they're getting the story ahead of time,
Right.
which is great. That sounds
And
like
we also do promotional videos. We have somebody, our stage manager actually is very good at doing promotional videos. Doing slides with voiceover saying this is what the show's about and here's where it is and the time it takes place. So we do a lot, but we ask an awful lot of the cast members because, as I say, I will exhort them every week. You got to get out there because word of mouth is the most potent way of getting people. Okay. And I know because we ask that question when you're buying a ticket, how'd you hear about the show? How'd you learn about this show? So we send out,
word of mouth is the best advertising
we send
there
out,
is for anything.
we send out blast emails. A lot of the people that come in are friends and relatives, neighbors, co-workers, classmates. Okay. But a lot of it is, if you're out buying groceries and you run into somebody, hey, I'm going to this show. I was in a doctor's office the other day and I said, hey, you like Gilbert and Sullivan? And I handed him my card. I mean, that's the way we publicize the show, and that's how people hear about it, because not that many people comparatively know about Gilbert and Sullivan. The litmus test I use is if they've heard of Pirates of Penzance, that's a good start. If they say,
Yes.
huh? If they haven't heard of that one, I know that I'm probably not going to make much headway. Although I would tell you that one of the doctor's appointments that I had last year, I did that. I said, do you enjoy Gilbert and Sullivan? And she says, what's that? I said, well, this. And he said, oh, yeah, I might come to that. And you know what? He did. He did.
Uh-huh.
He did. He bought 3 tickets the last year.
Well, hopefully you're healthy, but if you keep going to these doctors,
Yeah.
it helps the audience, right?
Right. Absolutely.
We've got about 4 minutes left, so let's let people know again. All right, I'm going to back up. You had your auditions in June.
Mhm.
From the time you had the auditions and you and the artistic director get together, John,
Mhm.
and you pick the cast,
Yep.
When do you start rehearsals?
Usually after 4th of July.
Fourth of July.
Yep, mhm.
Oh, so it's pretty quick.
Yep.
And the shows are always end of October?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
middle to end
Middle
of
to end
October.
of
Yep.
October.
So they've got 3 months.
hmm
That's a lot of work. though,
Which
for a lot of
which sounds
people.
like a lot of time, but remember the rehearsals
No.
are a week apart.
No.
You
Yeah.
know, so
No, it's not a lot of
A
time.
lot of ground to cover.
And it's surprising because all of a sudden I remember a couple of weeks ago that I said, we only have 2 rehearsals left. No, there's got to be more. No, we're 3 weeks from now we're moving into the venue and we're going to start our tech week and it goes pretty quickly. Just because there's a lot to learn. They have, you figure they've got to learn.
The tech week is lighting and
Right.
staging.
Oh, it's all of that.
Everything.
But they've got the vocals. They got to learn the voice part. Okay, so there's lyrics and notes that they have to learn.
Yeah, it's all done from memory. It's
And
not
it's-
like choral singing where you have the music in front of you.
It's all
Right,
done from
they got to
memory.
memorize everything. Yep.
Sure.
They have to learn their blocking. Where am I on upstage, downstage, cross left, cross right. All of that.
And now with all these
choreography.
fairies that you're lighting, are the lights lit before they go out on stage? Is that part of the stage manager's thing? Is there a switch for because it's the halo, right?
Yeah.
Right. They're LED lights.
Yeah, they're LEDs on
Well-
the wreaths that they're wearing now.
But the original show, the original staging in Gilbert Sullivan's time at the premiere, that was one of the big things is they had electric lit crowns on their heads. That was a big thing because, they were just moved. The theater that it opened in was the first theater ever illuminated with electric lights. So,
was
this
gonna
was
say,
an
a lot of
innovation. This was an innovation
People
back
didn't
then.
have lights in their homes.
Yeah,
back then.
right.
right.
Yeah. No, but they all had battery lit crowns on their head.
Wow.
All the
Yeah.
ladies, yeah.
This sounds like more fun. So one more time, do a commercial for us.
Go ahead. Joe.
Okay, well, please come and see Iolanthe, one of Gilbert Sullivan's most happy shows. Going to be at Valley Regional High School this Saturday and Sunday. 2 performances on Saturday, 2 o'clock and 7:30. 1 performance on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Very reasonable price, $35 or $30 in advance. And for what you're going to get, that is a terrific bargain.
And if you've never seen Gilbert and Sullivan, you want to see
No.
this because it is not a play. It is a spectacle. It is a production, and you've all put so much work into it. Thank you for keeping Gilbert and Sullivan alive. Hopefully, we will have you back next year
Okay, that'd be
with
great.
Pirates of Penzance,
Yeah.
right?
That'd be great. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Laura.
We are going to take a break now. When we come back, we're going to have a lady who has spent the last 13 years of her life under the sea. She's an underwater photographer, world famous, originally from Watch Hill. And she has come up for air after 13 years. And 11 of them in the Grand Cayman Island and 2 in Dubai. So it will be very interesting. You will meet Susanna Snowden. You are listening, watching, and streaming with Man About Town. We will be back in just a few minutes.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick down here at the Wireless Zone at 224 Post Road, Dunn's Corners. And this weekend, the new iPhone is here, and we have them all in stock. Come get the brand new orange iPhone 17 Pro or the brand new razor thin iPhone Air. The best part is trade in your old iPhone and get up to $1,100 off, meaning you get the brand new iPhone for free. But this weekend, you can get the brand new iPad and Series 11 Apple Watch for free. It's all happening down here at the Wireless Zone at 224 Post Road, Dunn's Corners. Don't delay, stop in today.
Hi, I'm AJ Trust.
And I'm Jeff Swiderski with AnyMac Home Mortgages Momentum Group, your trusted partner in the home buying process.
At AnyMac, we can strengthen your offer with our innovative program, Cash to Keys, giving you a competitive edge by allowing you to make a cash offer on your new home.
Together, we've helped over 1,000 families move into their dream homes, and we'd love to do the same for you.
Give us a call today at 401-486-0853 to get started.
Support a local cause you believe in when you open any new checking account at Washington Trust. Whether it's providing housing, ensuring no one goes hungry, or teaching tomorrow's leaders, we'll donate $25 to a local nonprofit on your behalf and give you $200 after 2 direct deposits. So open the checking account that's good for you and good for your community. Washington Trust. What we value is you.
At Dime Bank, we're all about community. It's who we are. Local communities made up of customers, families, and friends. Business owners invested in helping their communities thrive. Dedicated employees committed to giving back in ways that go beyond banking. If your banking relationship leaves you wanting more, come join our community. It's your bank, your choice, your dime.
We're back. And we're back with an old friend who should be wrinkled, not because she's old, because she's not anywhere near as old as I am. But when you've been underwater for 13 years, that can make you wrinkled. For those of you who have read The Westerly Sun forever, you may remember the photographer Susanna Snowden, who was then Susanna Snowden Smith.
No, now I'm Snowden Smith.
Now you're Snowden.
Now I'm Snowden Smith.
Yeah. She is famous from Watch Hill. I was going to say she's the other famous female from Watch Hill. And she was a phenomenal photographer when she was at the Westerly Sun. And I will give us both a commercial that when I was doing a feature called In Their Shoes, she was my favorite photographer to have with me. And we won a couple of awards from the Press Association, from the Rhode Island Press.
That's because you're my favorite person to do those with.
Oh, we did some crazy stuff. We really did. I brought in an album. Here's something I brought in, and our producer Andrew will like this because he's a sports type. But one of the in their shoes things I did was I went to the Paw Sox and I said, I want to learn how to slide into base. And I didn't know that they were going to kill me. The pitching coach and Susanna made me do it so many times. But there is a picture of me sliding into first base.
The full uniform.
And to this day, I have really sore knees. I do. It was like Cal, I kept saying, is this enough? And
We got the shot though.
yeah.
So-
And the pitching coach said, no, if you're going to do it, you're going to learn to do it the right way.
That's right.
And you had to agree with him.
Well, we got the shot. We always did it over until we got it what we needed.
Yeah, exactly. But you always work that way.
Yeah.
Which is great. And then one day she said, I'm leaving the Westerly Sun. And I said, why? And she said, I'm going to Grand Cayman. And I said, on vacation?
No.
Forever. I'm going to work. And you were just married, really, at
Yeah,
that
yeah.
point.
We'd only been married 3 months when I got the job, I think. 3 or 4 months.
Okay, and what specifically was the job you got in Grand Cayman?
So I should back up a tiny bit. So we started
You
out.
had done work here, I know.
I had been traveling for underwater archaeology assignments. So I was the photographer on underwater excavations of ancient shipwrecks, which is insane and amazing. And I'd done that 2009, 2010.
Had you worked with the guy from URI on Titanic?
No, I didn't work with Robert Ballard, but
Yeah,
I
that's
worked
what I
with the Institute of Nautical Archaeology, which is out of A&M in Texas. But I had done that for several years, actually 3 or 4 or 5 years in a row. And within that, I got married and we went on our honeymoon to Australia and New Zealand. And when Don and I were in the back of a camper van in a cow field, because you can park anywhere in New Zealand to camp, as it turns out, except maybe a cow field without asking permission. We woke up in the morning and said, how do we do this as a lifestyle? How do we travel and live abroad? And so from there, I sent a message to a friend of mine on Facebook who I knew was living in Grand Cayman and said, how do I get there? They said, it's expensive, it's tiny, it's a challenge, but it's amazing. So I applied for a job at an underwater photo center there and ended up working in their shop, teaching underwater photography to
And
people coming to the
you
island.
moved this brand new husband who didn't have a job when you first got there.
Yeah.
And he had something to do with hospitals.
So yeah, he's in the medical field. So he was working at the ER in Yale at the time. And so I headed down there. I got my job in January. I started in June. And for 6 months, 7 months, he came down. He stacked all his shifts and he came down once a month for like a week. It was not easy,
No.
but
Especially just married.
But it was amazing because when he was there, we were diving like crazy people, driving as much as we can and hanging out and meeting people and getting our social circle organized. And it was awesome.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
spent 11 years in Grand Cayman.
9 years in Cayman and 2 in Dubai. But he ended up getting a job a year later. So we had to take a little break and then regroup, and then we went back. So total 9 years in Cayman.
I'm
Yeah.
going to jump ahead because
Yeah.
I am dying to know.
Yeah.
When you sent an email a few years back saying, are you ready for this? We're taking another chance. We're moving to Dubai. And I'm thinking, Dubai? All I know about Dubai is they have good chocolate.
Yeah,
It's
right.
very expensive.
Yes.
Why Dubai? What got you out of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea in Grand
Right.
Cayman?
So legit question. Cayman is amazing. I'll start with that. Sorry. And let me just turn this off. Sorry, guys. Cayman is amazing, but after 9 years, I had photographed everything there was to photograph there. All the tiny little critters, which are macro subjects, so macro being close up, tiny stuff, and then the big wide stuff, all the reefs, all the sharks, all the wrecks, etc. And at that point, we were ready to move on. We were ready for a change. We had a little girl. We're like, let's go home. Let's regroup. Let's go back to the States. We'll, start over essentially. And then
I'm going to stop right there.
Mm.
You had a little girl.
Mhm.
Now, you're pregnant in Grand Cayman.
Yes.
Is that scary? Do they have good hospitals?
Oh no, they have
there?
excellent healthcare there. Excellent.
do.
And I had the most amazing midwives. They were awesome. They
Ah.
were so awesome. Amazing
So
birth experience.
Adelaide,
Yeah.
I know that's her name.
Yeah.
Adelaide was delivered by midwives.
She was delivered by midwives in Cayman Islands. She has a certificate of birth abroad. So they don't do birthright citizenship there. So she's an American citizen, but she has a certificate showing she was born there.
Is Grand Cayman an American? It's not an American possession.
No, it's a British protectorate, but it has its own government.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were ready to go though. 9 years was good.
I would think so.
Well, this is how our lives go, and you know this. But one night, Don applied for a job in Dubai that he randomly found in the Guardian newspaper online. Just randomly applied, and then forgot that he had done it. So
Now, did he tell you he was going to apply?
no,
for
he
this job in
didn't mention
Dubai?
it. No, and which I would have fully supported had I known, but I didn't know about it. And then a few weeks later, he got an email saying, "We found you on LinkedIn. We'd like to interview you to have you come potentially teach paramedic college in Dubai." And he's like, "That's so strange. They found me on LinkedIn. Like, you hear about that happening, but that's no way that really happened, is it?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You got to take the interview and find out." So he took the interview, which was like 11:30 at night,
Yeah.
our
so
time.
this was a Zoom interview.
A Zoom interview.
Okay.
Yeah. And they said, we got our wires crossed. We didn't actually find you on LinkedIn. We saw the application you had put in, and would you like to work here? By the way, the position starts 2 months from now. So
Wow.
we said, okay. So we packed up, we donated, we
It's amazing
moved.
that your poor mother is still alive. Look what you've done to her. First, it's we're going to Grand Cayman, and now
Yeah.
you're saying Dubai.
Yeah.
Dubai, I know, is a very wealthy country.
Yeah. So weirdly and
I mean,
coincidentally,
how do you find an apartment in Dubai and you're in Grand Cayman?
so very fortunately for us, the school put us up for a month in so there's 7 Emirates in the UAE. Dubai is one of the Emirates, and Ajman is one of the Emirates. He was teaching in Ajman. They put us up in a hotel in Ajman for a month, and during that month, go to work, come back to the hotel. Now I've got our young daughter there.
Right.
We would go out in the rental car that he learned how to drive in the most difficult driving situation I have ever experienced.
Why is
And we
that?
would go emirate to emirate, trying to see where we felt comfortable, where we might possibly settle.
Why is the driving so difficult?
So
Sand?
there's no rain, there's no snow, so people don't drive like they do here. In terms of, like, here you're tend to be much more cautious, right? There's wet leaves on the ground, there's wet roads. That doesn't exist there. So people tend to drive much closer to your tailgate when you're there, and it's a bit challenging. Not to mention the amount of traffic in general is just. I mean, it's an evolving city, so there's millions of people living there. And I never mastered it. I only ever drove around the block from our house. So,
Wow.
but he, literally took it by the reins, got us a rental car, and we drove
Now, how
all
old
over the place.
is Adelaide when you moved?
When we moved, she was 4, and when we left, she
all
was
right.
6.
So she wasn't a baby.
No, she wasn't a baby. She was a baby through COVID, which
Right.
we lucked out a little
I was
bit.
going to say that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, and then, but she was 4 by the time we moved. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, crazy.
Now, was she excited or was she upset? Like, I'm
No,
gonna miss my friend.
she was happy as a clam. She has travel in her DNA now. From now going forward, she will be. Yeah.
You had sent me an email and you said something like she's been to 13 countries.
12 countries. Technically 13 if you count the time we almost went to India, but 12 countries. Yeah, that's a whole other podcast. But
Wow.
12 countries, and she's 6 years old. So
All right,
amazing.
so now you're in Dubai and Don has the job and you don't.
Correct.
So now what are you doing?
So I
Other than
tried.
not driving?
Yeah, no, I did try to make inroads in employment there in my underwater work, and for me it was proved very tricky. The Arabian Sea is amazing. I don't know, is it the Persian Gulf? I'm going to get it wrong, but there's water up in Oman as well. Forgive me, I don't remember the name. So I did do some shooting when I was there, but trying to find the network that I needed to do it as a career, to continue to do my career there, was very challenging. So I kind of had to put it on the back burner a little bit.
What about the photographs? Did Ben get them to you, Andrew?
Yep.
Because I thought it would be great as Susanna talks to look at her work, which is just unbelievable.
So I did do a little bit of shooting there. I did some shooting in Oman, and I did a little bit. I have a picture that I sent of the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world.
Yes.
I have a split. It's called a split shot when you're half underwater and half above of the Burj Khalifa. So I'm in the Persian Gulf, 100-degree water.
Wow. What are we looking? Now, is that you?
Now this is not me. This is me shooting in Grand Cayman. So I'm below the pink sponge, and this is a diving buddy
that's a
above modeling
sponge.
for me. Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful pink vase sponge. Yeah. And this is Grand Cayman as well. This is one of our beautiful reefs on the north side.
That is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, it's stunning. So the water, the visibility in Cayman is 100 feet on average.
You're pronouncing it Cayman.
Right, right.
They speak English there, obviously, being
Yep.
a British possession. Oh, that's beautiful.
Those are called Christmas tree worms, and they're only about an inch tall.
Really?
They're about an inch tall. This is some macro work where you're shooting very, very tiny things and essentially filling the frame with it. But when you get close to them, or if you fan next to them, they suck back in. So you have to position yourself sort of downstream, as it were, down current, to get them not afraid of you to photograph them.
I can't. Now, if they were afraid of you, do they close up?
They suck back into their little tube. Yeah,
Ah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, look at that turtle.
And this is one of my more well-known images. This is a green sea turtle at a beach called Spots Beach, which is on the south side of the island. And you can see the sky and clouds there through the top of the water. It's only about 6 feet deep. And there's turtles that just hang out there and eat the seagrass. It's amazing.
And they're not afraid of the people?
Well, so I always tell everyone stay, a body length away and watch them. If you approach, they'll take off, and they are fast, really fast. They have one flap and they're gone. So if you keep your distance and you just observe, you can get some nice shots.
You don't think of a turtle being fast.
Yeah, they move. Yeah, they move.
That's a great shot.
Thank you.
Now, obviously, people can see that it says Susanna Snowden Smith Photography. Any of these shots are for sale, correct?
They're all for sale on my website. The watermark is strictly for the website. They don't get printed that way.
Okay.
Yeah, and I believe that's the same turtle. I wouldn't swear to it, but that's the same day at least. And I actually took those right after I moved there.
Look at that.
This guy is a yellow-headed goby, and isn't he adorable? And they're very, very skittish. They also dig a hole in the sand and they'll pop back in or pop out. I had to wait. I was lying on the sand over half an hour with this guy, just edging forward a couple inches at a time. You can see he's sort of still wary.
You are a very patient individual.
Well, the joke is when you're diving with a photographer, you're diving solo because the photographer is focused entirely on their subject. And Don, there could be a shark swimming over my head and I wouldn't know it. Wow. He likes to joke that, I'm so laser focused, whatever's going on above me is a moot point. Yeah.
Ooh, what is that?
This is a juvenile French angel, and you can see the white stripes on it. And then on the tail, it has a little bit of a yellow stripe that was white. So when they're babies, they're striped. They're the cutest little things. They are adorable. And as they grow up, their color changes and they then have different camouflage.
Now, as they grow up, their color changes, but is it all those same colors?
They go blue and yellow and then they lose the striping. So they're black and yellow as babies. This is in a place called Devil's Grotto, which is in the south part of the island also.
These are all in Cayman?
So it's pronounced Cayman when you're on the island. And everyone always asks me that. It's a totally legit question because if you are in Cayman, you're in Cayman. And that's how you say it. If you are from the States and you've not been, you may say Grand Cayman or some other iteration, but the local pronunciation is Cayman. Those are all tiny bait fish called silver sides, and there's just millions of them, and they fill the dark caves. And then the jacks, which you can see there in the center there, and then the tarpon, which is the other fish. They swoop in and they eat them all up. But it's like, you know, those, do you remember in the 1970s, it was popular to have those curtains with the beads?
Yes.
That's what it's like swimming with those guys. You go through and the beads separate. The fish just separate around you. It is magical.
Obviously, they're not afraid. They just give you your space,
They-
you give them theirs.
They, you know, they move like birds. They move together in their big school and they just avoid you. But it is absolutely a magical experience to dive with the silver sides. Yeah.
Okay, so when you were in Grand Cayman, and your daughter is growing up, did she dive with you at all?
She hasn't dived yet. She loves the water. She's a great swimmer. PADI, which is the Professional Association of Divers.
Yes.
You can try a dive at age 8, and you can get certified as a junior diver at age 10.
And
So
she's 6
she's
then.
6. So I feel like it's probably going to come relatively soon, which will be amazing.
But she wants to do this.
I don't know. She's seen us do it a lot, and she's intrigued by it. Whatever she wants to do is fine by us, but she loves the water, so it would be a natural extension. And she's actually a really good photographer as well, so she's got a lot of things going for her.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Sounds like the family business.
Mhm. This is one of our famous shipwrecks. This is the Kittiwake, which was sunk probably about 15 years ago now. And it was an old Navy vessel that they
Not
bought
North
for $1.
Carolina, was it?
No, I don't think it. I don't know where it came out of. It came out of the States. They brought it down and stripped it bare. Could all the wiring and everything else that you could get hung up on out of it, and then sank it as an artificial reef. So this is relatively early days. At this point, it had probably been down 5-6 years, something like that. And now we had a huge hurricane. Hurricane Nate came through and shifted the boat. So it's actually much further away from where it started, and it's buttressing up on a reef, and it's on its side, which you may see in one of the later pictures. And this is another one of our wrecks called the Doc Polson, with a stingray in the foreground there.
How did you get into doing the wrecks? I know you did it when you were here, but did you somebody just gave you a chance even though you had never done it before?
Well, so my first ever real camera was an underwater camera. That's what I wanted. And I got it when I was 10 years old. I saved my money up 12 years old. My first camera was a point and shoot little thing. And my first real camera was an underwater one at age 12 that I saved for.
Look at that. That's a great shot.
Yeah, thank you. This is a turtle on the north wall looking down. So you see how it's really dark blue?
How do you get the light? I mean, yeah, it's really dark, but yet you've got beautiful light on the body.
So I have very big, they're called strobes, very big flashes for underwater. Yeah, they're huge. And they're
and
about,
you can take them underwater?
Take them underwater. They're sealed. They have O-rings to seal them. They're about,
How do you carry all that stuff?
so it's like 5 pounds per strobe on land. And then when you get in the sea, it's neutral. But Don's my Sherpa. Sherpa Don carries my gear for me.
It's amazing he's still married to you.
Yeah.
Amazing your mother is still around.
So I'm lighting up like the turtle and the sponges.
That's one that I saw. Oh my God, that's great.
So I'm lighting all that up with very specific strobe positions underwater.
What are you lighting?
I'm lighting the sponge here. This is a yellow base sponge. It's technically more of a khaki color, but.
And that is you?
No, this is one of my models. This is someone else that was in my dive group that day in the background. And this is a famous part of Grand Cayman called Stingray Sandbar or Stingray City. And it's waist deep, and the stingrays come there reliably every day. And we went out, I was doing a photo course with a very well-known, probably the best photographer in the world underwater, Alex Mustard. I did a course with him, and we were on the reef that day, and the waves were breaking, which you would normally assume would not be a good time to be there. But if you know me, and you do, I adapt to my circumstances.
Yeah,
so I said, okay, this is not the kind of stuff that people normally shoot. How can I shoot this differently? All right, I need a breaking wave. So I went off to find a breaking wave with a stingray, and I love that shot.
Oh, it is great. Yeah, you don't do what normal people do, but that's what makes you good.
Oh, thank you. That's a split shot of the Doc Polson also. And a fun story with this one, I swam.
Because you've got the clouds above and
Got the
what's
clouds.
underneath?
That's
Is that
the dive.
wreckage?
That's the dive boat, and then underneath is the wreck.
Yeah.
And the dive boat was nervous because I just kept swimming away from the boat because I wanted to get this split shot with all those elements. And in order to get people out of my shot and get the boat to be small enough where it wasn't taking over the image, I had to swim. It looks close. It was probably 10-minute swim, 12-minute swim away from the boat to get the shot. And this is the kitty wake again. Yeah. This one I won a kind of a nice award from the Underwater Photographer of the Year. And those are some jacks that are living on the wreck. And this is another stingray at the sandbar, but for this, we went out, we got up there around 4:30 in the morning, I think, to get out there for sunrise. So that's the only reason I would get up that early, just FYI.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. I used my flashes in my strobes in the morning to light up the stingrays, but also did a slow shutter speed to get the pink and the gold from the sunlight.
Wow.
Yeah. Similar idea there. There, I'm raising the camera half out of the water, and the water is draining off the front of my dome port.
Do you find a lot of people who find your website are buying these kinds of shots because they're so different?
Yeah. I used to do an art market, several art markets in Cayman. I was part of the art society there, and so I would have photo cards and 8x10s and large canvases. I have some of them in a store still on the island called Pure Art, and people go there and yeah, I get requests, and there's a lot of condos decorated with canvases, which I'm proud to say. So yeah, pretty awesome.
That's terrific, because that's not what you're going to see in a gallery, in a normal gallery.
Right.
And who is that?
This is one of our resident female sharks off the east end of the island.
Now you swim with the sharks.
I do.
Are these the type that might want to eat you for lunch?
No, I mean, any animal that can protect itself will. So if you get in their face, they're going to protect themselves. But these are Caribbean reef sharks. I wouldn't say they're docile, but they certainly are not trying to attack anybody. They're simply there to check you out, see what you're all about, and if you happen to have a snack nearby, they love to eat the lionfish. If they find a lionfish nearby, they'll partake in that. So, but I keep an appropriate distance, but I'm also aware of their behavior and how to conduct myself and be safe. So, yeah, I should say I haven't done much shark diving since Adelaide showed up on the scene. I do have a healthy caution for my life now that I'm a mom. So
that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of my favorite images. I love all of them, or I wouldn't put them on the website, but this is one of my top 10.
My God, I love that. Look at the colors above.
Yeah.
And that is sunrise?
That's sunrise, and I did a split shot, so I have a very large dome port half submerged in the water, and I tipped it forward just enough that you could see the reflection of the stingray through the surface.
Wow.
And then I've just converted the bottom half to black and white and left the stingray. You can see the yellow eye. I've left the yellow eye of the stingray and just converted the rest of it, just to make that focus be on the sunrise. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a magical place. It's insane.
But when the average American goes to Cayman for a vacation, they're not seeing this stuff because they're not doing what you're doing.
Well, you can go to Stingray Sandbar. There are private trips that go out there. There are large boats that will take the cruise ships or people out there. This is another
is it like
famous
a glass
one.
bottom boat where
They will get off into the waist deep water and they will hold the stingrays. The key for me is to not go on those days. I like to go early in the morning, private charter if I can wing it with friends that I know there, to get out when the sand is not disturbed. If you kick up sand when you're photographing underwater, you're in trouble because your strobes will light up all those sand crystals as what's called backscatter, and it just makes a very messy image. So I try to go out with the bare number of people and spend as much time as I can just in my own little spot photographing them.
That is absolutely gorgeous. Oh, starfish?
This is Starfish Point on the north side of the island. These two starfish were sort of set together by a tourist, and I was able to do a similar technique to what I said before, where I tipped the camera forward enough to get the view through the top. But you see those sparkles off the red one on the right? So that was fortuitous. As I was lying in give or take 8 or 10 inches of water, jet ski or a boat went by and some ripples came towards me, and I thought, oh God, you're ruining my shot. This is, please just go away, But what happened is, as that water pushed past, I saw the sparkles. And so I waited for the next ripple and got the shot.
It made the shot.
It made the shot, 100%.
We're going to have to take a break, but put a bookmark in it, Andrew, because we got to come back to this. This is fantastic. I also want to find out why you left Dubai when you could have just been sitting there eating chocolate, counting money, and just answer this before we go to break. The climate in Grand Cayman is tropical all the time.
Yeah,
Do they have tropical storms?
Oh yeah, there's one heading there right now, actually.
Yeah,
we had a number of hurricanes while we lived there. The worst we went through was Category 2, and that was enough for me. Thank you very much. Wow. They got devastated by a Category 5, I think it was 2004, and it leveled the island. So.
But you never lost your home when you were there.
We didn't lose our home. We lived right on the beach when Hurricane Grace came through. That was the Category 2, and that was enough. And I don't need to see more than that.
Yeah, that would be enough.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking with the very shy Susanna Snowden Smith, just a world famous photographer, and she's from here. She's from Lodge Hill. She doesn't sing, but she sure takes great shots. This is Man About Town. We were a production of 321 Media. We will be back shortly.
Experience local excellence with Roof Right Roofing in Charlestown, Rhode Island. With over 40 years of unmatched expertise, Roof Right specializes in architectural shingles and holds the prestigious title of GAF Master Elite Installers. Known for their commitment to the community and support for local initiatives, Roof Right is your trusted partner for all of your home's roofing needs. Call today for a free estimate at 401-212-4140.
I am Jim Howe. My practice is focused on representing people injured in car accidents, representing people injured in premises liability, represent people in all walks of life. I say all the time that I represent the underdog, and by the underdog I mean the person who is injured and is facing lawyers that are hired by insurance companies. If you unfortunately find yourself injured in an automobile collision or in any other circumstance where insurance may come into play, think of giving me a call.
Hi, I'm Neil Anthus, owner of Sound Financial Partners. We're a full-service financial planning practice dedicated to optimizing your investment, tax, and cash flow strategies. As fiduciaries, we always keep our advisory clients' best interests in mind when making recommendations. Whether you're preparing for retirement or growing your business, we're here to help you achieve your financial goals. Ready to start your journey to financial success? Visit us at our Wesley office or give us a call at 401-642-4333.
Wood River Health is my home for health.
Wood River Health is a one-stop shop for primary medical care, dental care, behavioral health, and social services. We care for the members of our community because they are our community. I'm Allison Croak, President and CEO of Wood River Health. Since 1976, our health center has provided high-quality, affordable health care to residents of Rhode Island and southeastern Connecticut. We are your neighborhood health center. Let us be your home for health.
Moving doesn't have to be stressful. Whether it's across town or just across the hall, no job is too big or too small for Easy Does It Moving and More. Sean and his team put people first, making your move safe, smooth, and stress-free from start to finish. For a move made simple, go with the name that says it all. Easy Does It Moving and More. Call us today at 401-545-6078 or go to easydoesitmoving.com.
At Dime Bank, we're all about community. It's who we are. Local communities made up of customers, families, and friends. Business owners invested in helping their communities thrive. Dedicated employees committed to giving back in ways that go beyond banking. If your banking relationship leaves you wanting more, come join our community. It's your bank, your choice, your dime.
I'm Dale Sold, the owner of Shoreline Painting and Cabinet Refinishing. My vision for the company has always been to elevate paint contracting. When you call, you get a live person. Typically, we have estimates out the same day. We have really good communication with our customers daily. We make sure you're completely happy before we leave the project. We service residential and commercial customers. The commercial work we do is typically more community-oriented. We just completed a expansion of our shop. We added 3 more spray booths to allow us to increase capacity. You can find us at 77 Stillman Ave in Pawcatuck. You can find us on our website at shorelinepaintingri.com, or you can call the office 401-834-1684 to book an estimate.
Okay, everybody. Here's something I bet you didn't know, because I sure didn't know it, and I've known Susanna a long time. She said that she'd never been on a plane till 1994.
Yep.
Why don't you tell the folks what you told me about when you were in high school looking at
Yeah.
Archaeology magazine?
Archaeology magazine, which I'll finish. It comes full circle. I'll tell you that in a
Okay.
second. My mom had a subscription to Archaeology magazine, and so I used to read it pretty religiously. And in the back, there was a tiny little ad for college year in Athens, study abroad, junior year program. And I saw it and I said, that's what I need to do. I don't know why. I think it was a freshman or a sophomore at the time. And I said, this is it. It was just like laser focused.
I want to go to Athens.
I need to go to Athens. And I showed my mom the ad. She was in the kitchen. I walked in, I said, can I do this? And my mom has been absolutely the most supportive person my entire life. I'm going to get teared up, but she has always said, yes, go for it, to everything, every crazy idea.
Wonderful woman.
Yeah, wonderful, amazing.
That's not your typical mom.
Well, I have to take some lessons from it, because I get nervous with Adelaide, but my mom was always the yes, take the jump. And so I signed up, got, everything in order after multiple phone calls to the office saying, what do I pack? How do I pack? I've never been abroad. I'd been to Canada on a bus. That's as far as I'd been. I'd never been on a real jetliner. My first time on a real plane, was January 11th or so of 1994. And that started everything. And my heart goes out to college here in Athens. They started everything for me. And from there on, I have now traveled and done archaeology and underwater photography, all because I found this ad in the back of this magazine.
Wow. I mean, when I grew up, it was comic books. And they used to have ads. They'd have like a big bodybuilder, and they'd add, and then they'd show a picture of a guy that maybe weighed 110
Oh, right.
pounds.
Oh, I remember those.
And they'd say, send in your money, and you'll look like this.
Yeah.
And all the boys were doing that, and they didn't look like that.
Well, I told you it came full circle.
Yeah.
And I worked on an excavation in Spain. I'm gonna get this wrong. I think it was 2nd century BC shipwreck. It was Phoenician shipwreck. And I got the cover of Archaeology magazine later that year.
Wow.
So 2011. So from 94 to 2011, kind of a full circle experience for me.
Did
And
you tell
it's
the
amazing.
people from the magazine?
I don't know if I did. I had a lovely interaction with them. They were amazing, but I don't know if they knew what the catalyst was for everything.
You got the cover of that magazine. It had to be a heck of a photo.
It was pretty cool. It was one of our archaeologists excavating it's called a tripod bowl, a bowl with 3 feet in the sand.
So before we go back to
Spain.
the photos, because I asked you, and then we got off, we were talking about chocolate. But why did you leave Dubai? It was enough after 2 years?
So there's an expression in Arabic, halas, which means finished, enough, halas. And Dawn and I use it all the time. So it's just a perfect summation. So we had the most amazing experience, and it filled our cups, but it also felt like a complete chapter. And it was just time to try something else. It was also time to be home. We were planning to go home before we went to Dubai. We went to Dubai. We loved it. But then it was time to be closer to family. And
are you going to light here for a while and
then
take off?
I say we're settled here. That's probably not true. I have a feeling we'll be, at the very least, we'll be traveling again. Whether or not we'll move abroad again, I don't know.
You're in Stonington.
We're in Stonington,
right?
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's really nice to expat life is awesome. It is awesome, but it's also a challenge every single day. You leave the house to buy toothpaste, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
So to not have that challenge on a daily basis, in some ways makes life a little boring, and in other ways is a little bit more settling. And I need that. I need to regroup a little bit before we do it again, I think.
And what about your daughter? What does she think of school here?
She's doing amazing. She's at Dean's Mill. She loves it. It's a great school. Shout out Dean's Mill. We just had our teacher conference today, and she's doing awesome. She's very adaptable. So she was learning.
Gee, I wonder why. Look. Well,
she was learning French and Arabic in Dubai. And so she'll randomly be at home walking around singing in Arabic. And I don't even know if she's aware that she's doing it. It's wild. So that's going to be, again, it's going to be in there.
French immersion or something so she doesn't lose this.
Yeah, I think it's in the hard drive, It'll come out at random times, but I think it's also going to set the template for when she learns language in the future. She will have already had this.
He's Moroccan and he lives in New York City. We talk all the time. He would speak Arabic to her.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, his name is Yusuf. He's great.
Nice.
But yeah, if I asked him, he would probably drive right up here.
Nice.
To meet you. He is
that's awesome.
Guy.
I love Morocco too. So Morocco's amazing.
Yeah. How many countries have you been to in your time?
I did the math a while ago. I think it was around 46, 48, something like that. Yeah.
Wow. And Adelaide's been to 12.
12.
And she's 6 years old.
And she's 6.
You got people in Rhode Island who won't go from Westerly to Coventry, without packing a bag.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to your beautiful photography.
There's an underwater archaeology segment on my website. If you go to that, we can see the tripod picture if you're interested. Yeah, if you just click right there, should take us back to the main page.
Did you hear that, Andrew?
Yeah, it was.
So if you click on galleries on the right side there.
Click on galleries.
Yeah.
Yep. It's.
Is it just taking its sweet time?
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so go to the fourth one down, the underwater archaeology one. Yep. Yeah, there we go. So this is in Sri Lanka. I worked 2 seasons in Sri Lanka on that was the 2nd century record. The one in the Phoenician one was 7th century. This is 2nd century BC. This is my friend Stacy lighting up one of the amphora for me. Stacy Willis, archaeologist out of A&M. This is one of.
I've seen
It's absolutely before. Yeah. You definitely have, because it's one of my top 10 photos that I've ever taken in my life. Yeah. And this is.
Remember the guy standing up there in the yellow sail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was learning still how to do split shots, and this is one of my first successful split shots. And this is 2 archaeologists raising a piece of ancient shipwreck wood from the wreck and putting it on the platform of our ship.
Yikes.
Yeah, so I saw them coming, knew they were coming, jumped in the water, got my camera set up, had the sunlight behind me so that I could light the divers under the water, get the boat with the beautiful yellow awning. It all came together in, that split second.
Does the ever get waterlogged?
You do, yeah, you can lose your camera. You have about, on any given setup, 18 different O-rings that can fail, and one fails and you're screwed.
And this is O-rings like they talk about with the space program.
Yeah, well, I would imagine a smaller scale, but yes. Yeah. Mine are anywhere from a 1/2 inch to 8 inches across, something like that. But any one of those, if they get a hair in them, that's enough when it shrinks under pressure to allow water to come in. So it's extremely stressful setting up my gear. Extremely, but well worth it. This is on our 1st century BC column wreck. It was carrying an entire column in pieces. If you look at the Westerly Post Office and the columns,
yes,
the drums, it's stacked. If you take a close look, they're stacked. We were excavating one of those from the ancient world. Off to the side was an amphora that was not from our wreck, was apparently not coincided with it, but I thought it was so photogenic. I went over there and got some shots of it. Yeah. This is really cool. This is from the 2nd century BC wreck in Sri Lanka. This is the head of a spear. And I used what's called a snoot, which is I literally took a 1 liter Sprite bottle, taped it up, and used, if you imagine this, you take the mouth of this and shot through the mouth of it. You can see the light coming through on the side.
Yeah.
So that's lighting up the spear just with this little fine bit of light coming out through a soda bottle. Yeah.
How do you get, like you're talking about going to Sri Lanka? How do you get that gig? Did you apply? It wasn't on the back of a magazine.
No.
Did they come after you?
I spent, my first time abroad was 94. My first underwater excavation was 98 in Egypt. And that is because I banged on the door as long and as hard as I could until someone finally opened it. And I had the very good fortune of the founder of underwater archaeology, and a gentleman named George Bass, my hero. You remember? I'm sure you remember mentioning him. I wrote to him in college. The day I got a letter back from him, I almost, no exaggeration, almost fainted. Wrote him again over the years, and one of my letters ended up on one of the director's desks who was headed to Egypt. And she cold called me one night. Do you want to go to Egypt for the summer?
No, thank you.
My mom, my mom loves to tell the story. I walked in, I hung up the phone, I walked in, I collapsed on the living room floor because I had been trying to do this my whole life, basically. Since I was 11 years old, this is what I wanted. And from there, I was able to get contacts, and so I've done about, I think, 6 different wrecks now.
A lesson that you're going to teach, you probably have already, your daughter, perseverance.
She is project-oriented like her mom.
That you just knock, and you knock till somebody finally opens.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. This is one of our archaeologists in Sri Lanka, and this is a complete pot. It's reasonably rare to find complete. I know I had a picture of an amphora in the previous shot, but it's not that common. So this is a complete pot from the Sri Lankan wreck, which was amazing. I don't remember if we sealed the mouth, but we probably did.
2nd century, you said?
I believe they dated it to the 2nd century BC, yeah.
And yet it's not unlike the pottery they throw now.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, there's a great shot.
So this is another close to my heart because
Woman with pretzel. That's what I'm hungry. That's what I'm saying.
I knew that they had found this, what they think might be a piece of the rigging. It's a big concreted iron piece. And I went into town that after, I hadn't photographed it yet. That day I went into town. I was doing some printing of some photo releases. And as I sat in this tiny little copy shop on basically like a dirt road, I formulated this image in my mind's eye. I knew exactly the shot I wanted to get of this rigging. And the next day I explained it to, I think it was Pelita, I forget his name, Pelita, that we were, was going to be my model for it. And we went down, and I had explained to him on the boat what I wanted to do. But you cannot communicate underwater other than hand signals. So you have to get really dialed in on the surface. So we dialed in, we went down, he raised it, the sun was there, and literally the exact picture that I had imagined in my mind's eye in the coffee shop unfolded in front of me. I cannot tell you, it was like goosebumps down my spine.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, this is the shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about it till you just said it. That when you're underwater, you can't, you got to point and do things.
Mm-hmm. This is the shot that was on the Archaeology magazine. So they cropped
That
it to
was the cover?
they cropped it to a vertical with the stoneware tripod bowl and what's called a hydrolift or an airlift on the right side. That's where you very gently hand fan the sand and it gets sucked up and dispensed into the back there.
Wow.
This is also the Spanish excavation. So we had, it's called Bajo de la Campana, which means rock with the bell. And there was a big outcropping with a bell on it in the middle of this shipping area. Well, the boats kept having to navigate around it, so they decided to blow it up, not being aware that an ancient shipwreck was underneath it. So they blew up the top of the rock to make it easier for people to navigate, but in return, it was littered with boulders. So we had to move the boulders out of the site first before we could begin excavating. This is another one of my buddies from the excavation, and this was a near and dear to my heart as well because.
Do you tell them before they go down there exactly what you want them to do?
It depends on the shot. This particular shot, no. I was under the overhang lighting up these amphora sherds using my strobes, and then I just waited till he was in a good position in the background to snap the shot.
The lighting amazes me that you're down there with water and how deep are you?
This excavation was 60 feet, which is relatively shallow, and this particular shot was about 45 feet. The column shipwreck was 150. That's next level, 150
So you
feet.
have oxygen on your back?
So you wear an air tank, and you go down, and then on the excavations we always have extra air tanks stashed around the site. So in the God forbid, event that you run out of air or get low, you can kind of make your way over to one of the extra bottles. Yeah.
That's a great shot. It's the
thank you.
lighting that just makes it above and below.
Well, so that shot, before I did this class with Alex Mustard, I did another class with a organization out of California called Backscatter, which is an underwater Photoshop. I did those classes in 2013, 2014. These excavation pictures are 2009, 10, and 11. I was self-teaching during that time period. One of the reasons that shot is so important to me is that I was in 45 feet of water manipulating my strobes to try and figure out how I could get the best light to also get a silhouette in the background, and to be able to figure it out and nail the shot. I mean, it was like, like I'm getting this. And I give huge credit to Backscatter and to Alex Mustard, because if they hadn't kind of given me the basement, I wouldn't be able to build from there. But prior to all of that, I was just scrambling, trying to understand how does light work underwater, because it is so different.
Do you read a lot, or it's all experimentation, or a combination of
Both?
things?
Yeah, lots of reading, lots of now online articles. At the time, I literally had a book with me. Like, it was like Intro to Underwater Archaeology or Intro to Underwater Photography, how to be an underwater photographer. And thank you so much to Ina.
And you have your Sherpa too.
And I have my Sherpa Don. He wasn't on the excavation with me. I had some other Sherpas that year, but the Institute took a chance on me and said, come to Turkey, come photograph with us. And thank you so much to Debbie Carlson, who set me on the path to be able to do these things, because she was the one that said, you know what, I know you did an excavation before, and I would love to have you come to Turkey. And man, I mean, it really just set everything in motion.
Turkey, like Andrew talks about going to New York to see a ball game, or I talk about going to Providence to see theater. You go to Turkey, Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Well, the world.
What languages are you speaking? Or just English?
Oh man, I speak a tiny bit of Arabic. I mean, just the basic phrases to get around. I like to say I speak street Greek, which is that I speak enough Greek to get around, to go to the kiosks and get myself some, Cokes and whatever else they sell there. But
when you moved to Dubai, you said Adelaide was 4.
Mm-hmm.
So did she go to preschool at that point?
She was in preschool in Cayman. She started pre-kindergarten, pre-K in Dubai. She did pre-K and kindergarten in Dubai.
Was that being taught in Arabic or in English?
It's taught in English, but they teach an Arabic segment. So she had Arabic, I think, once a day or several times a week.
So
yeah.
That's why she's, what are we looking at?
These are mating hamlets. These are 2 fish that it is wild.
I don't see a fish. I see a profile of a woman wearing a hat. Honestly, I do. I see her eyebrow, her mouth. That's interesting.
You see that? I see what you're talking about. The yellow face is one fish, and that's the tail of that fish going up. And then there's another one wrapped around. So they're actually spawning. Yeah. They these hamlets, Alex Mustard figured out the hamlets at dusk on the reef, they start descending into the deeper water, and as they do that, they approach each other and 5 or 6 times just wrap around each other and do this. And one plays the male and one plays the female. They separate. They get together 30 seconds or so later. A couple minutes later, they do it again, opposite. Amazing. And the whole
And they
thing
just
takes
know
place.
to do that.
Well, it takes place every night for a few minutes on the reef. And Alex was kind enough to show me where they do it. And we went on down to shoot them. It was amazing.
And that is whatever I'm looking at is absolutely gorgeous.
This is an arrow crab. This is in Cayman. And I call this one chiaroscuro, which is part of my art history background where you're using very dramatic light. So I'm using one strobe and just the very, very edge of the light from the strobe to light up the crab's eyes. Those are the red eyes. And I've got a very, very shallow depth of field so that I'm getting just the eyes and just the barest amount of lighting. And if you look on the bottom left, you can see a little bit of purple. That's its purple claw.
That's a claw?
Mm-hmm. It's got these crazy long claws that it eats with. Yeah. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh, look at that.
These are hammerheads in the Bahamas. This was an Alex Mustard trip that I went on, and they will feed the chum the water a little bit for the sharks to come in. The sharks kind of know the routine. They come through, they get the chum, they circle around, they come back again. It's almost like a little highway.
And they don't bother you.
They don't bother us, but what I like to do, and you know this again from all the work we've done together, I like the interesting shot that no one else is looking for.
Of course.
So everybody else is focused on the bait box and facing forward. And I thought, well, what are these sharks doing after they pass us? And I turned around. So I wanted the exact opposite angle. And I waited until the sharks kind of went through and then passed going in opposite directions to continue on that little shark highway, and had the light coming down from the surface.
Little shark highway.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I call
Is
this,
that an eye?
That's an eye. That is a very tiny blenny. And I call this check out my grill, because it looks like it has fake teeth in there, little
Yes,
gold
it
teeth.
sure
Right?
does.
The head of that
And a blue
fish
jaw.
is smaller than a pencil eraser.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like what you began with, where you were showing those little worm things.
Yep, yep. So this is super macro. I'm shooting this with a plus 15 diopter, which means it's 15 times the size in order to fill the frame. And I have to be very patient with those guys because they'll shoot in and out of their little holes. This I also placed in Underwater Photographer of the Year because this is a bit of a special shot. Do you see the crab on the right there?
Yep.
These are shrimp, rather. These are called two-claw shrimps. It's a very inventive name. But that one has eggs. And so they were paired up in this purple vase sponge. And I put one of my strobes. You can just make out that little gray area on the right. There was a little hole in the sponge, and I angled my strobe so it would shoot through there and backlight the eggs on the shrimp. Yeah.
I love the fact that you always look for what nobody else is looking for. The road not taken.
Exactly. Well, take chances, Rona.
Yeah.
Everyone else doesn't know this. Rona gave me a luggage tag that says "Take chances," and it's on my underwater camera gear bag. So every time I'm lugging my camera gear somewhere, taking chances.
They know it because oh my God, we're almost done. Every program I do, I end with "Take chances," because you'll never know what can happen. And last week when I said that was like the entree to you.
It's
the
awesome.
Luggage tag. Wow, that is fabulous. We're probably going to have to end with this one.
This is in Roatan.
In where?
Roatan in South America. This is a shark. We went on a shark dive, and again, everyone else is focused on sort of the bait box in front of them. And I thought, what's going on?
Because they don't want
different.
to be eaten.
What's different? Yeah. Well, what?
Might be
maybe I'm not looking out for myself enough. I'm looking for the shot, but I love the way the shark's tail angles around the sun and sort of mimics it.
And that is the sun.
Yep.
You got to come back.
I would love to come back.
Absolutely have to come back. We got to have a part 2 or 3. I want to talk to your daughter and your husband.
No, I'll bring them along.
And find out. I mean, it has been an adventure, especially for Don.
Oh yeah. It's amazing. He took diving classes in high school or college, but never finished it. And then he'll tell you he wanted to keep up with me, so he got certified. We got engaged in Sri Lanka. We went after my excavation, we got engaged. We went to the Maldives to celebrate, and he had gotten dive certified in 41-degree water in Rhode Island. Then went to Sri Lanka or Maldives and dove in 82-degree water, so doubled his water temperature in order to be on these dive trips. So
It's amazing.
I found the right guy.
Okay, you sure did,
Yep.
because there are a lot of people that would say, no, I don't think so. Tell people how they can see more when we get off the air if they want to look at a lot more of what you've done.
Awesome. So my website is SusannaPhotography.com. It's spelled
That's
like you
simple.
see here, Susanna Photography. And yeah, I've got all my work on there. My travel work from the most recent, I did a lot of, we didn't get to touch on it, I did a lot of land photography, land travel photography while we were in Dubai. That hasn't made it onto my website yet. But all my underwater stuff is on there. All my underwater archaeology, all my Cayman fine art.
You back for the pictures that we weren't able to do.
Amazing.
What is your mom's first name?
Ann Snowden.
Ann Snowden. A lot of people know Ann, and she still lives in Watch Hill, correct?
She's in the area, yeah.
Oh, that's right. She's in Mystic now.
Yeah, yeah.
But people know her, and there is the reason that Susanna is the way she is.
It's truth.
Next week is going to be local doings. In addition to Lisa Kanicki from the Chamber, I thought since we had 1 hour that wasn't filled, which is very unusual, that we should fill it with some of the nonprofits and local people and find out what's going on. Like the pasta dinner that is going to be held jointly by the Lions and the Rotary Club. They do it every November at help me, Andrew. The Italian
The Calabrese Club?
Yes, the Calabrese, the Cali.
I know the
Club.
Cali
Yes,
Club.
at the Cali Club. This will be November 10th, and the money all goes to the Johnny Cake Center for the heating assistance for the winter for their clients. So they're going to be on with us. The Chamber's going to be on. The Warm Center is going to be on, talking about their bash coming up. The Dante Society will be with us, and they're all going to have a few minutes, and they'll be here. So have a very good week. Take chances. See what happens when you take chances? You never know what, it might not work out, but it might work out. It could be your whole life and career. Just don't take chances on the highway, please. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Rona.
Thank you.